What's up, guys? It feels like it's been a while since I actually did a video. Just want to apologize because I've been really busy this weekend, and the 2.0 has honestly been such a big update, and realized that we only got half of it. We are still missing a bunch of features. For instance, the group base would get updated. We would also get 2 more new events, and another thing is pretty much the bathhouse that we still don't have yet in the game itself. So there are a few features that we're still missing. I'm pretty much trying to do my best to go over the features for you guys, because a lot of players are lost with what is going on in this 2.0 update and don't really have any idea of what's happening. Now, right now, I'm pretty much going to be trying to show you guys the stuff that's been going on with the new stuff, as far as the changes go for, the stuff we've already been doing. And then I'll pretty much be trying to get you guys some lineups for 2.0, and that will probably be on tomorrow's video. I'm going to be going through a lot of lineups, from free players to spenders to whatever, involving Kage Treasure Ninjas and ninjas that got changed for better or worse. Personally, I've only stuck with the Lightning Main and this team itself. This is easily the best team I used so far after 2.0. And Cursed Hedon is definitely my favorite ninja in the game so far. I've been doing really good with this team. You guys have seen the streams. It does very well in Siege World and PvP in general. But, so now with the new 2.0, you have yourself the Kakashi Handbook, which makes daily life so easy. I mean, if you're level 80 plus with Jonin Medal, you can instantly just complete everything. So you pretty much do all your daily practices without having to do anything. And the best part is now you can stack experience past level 85, so you can finally go ahead and do all your plot missions and instances, do all your quests, use up everything you want, because you will start stacking XP. I'm already 240% in. So I would be, probably halfway into 88 at this point, which, when the level 90 cap comes, which probably would be, I would say shortly after the 2.0 update. So maybe a month after we get the rest of the 2.0 update. Yeah, probably sometime around then. We will get ourselves a level 90 cap, and then shortly after the 90 cap, we'll probably get ourselves Jinchuriki keys in total. The next thing is you have yourself this weekly practice as well, which do realize that you can only do the S level missions twice per week, and you can only do 5 trainings per week as well. So I would suggest you to, don't claim anything until you finish both the S missions and then claim it. Because you definitely want to get yourself the 300,000 experience for both of these. This helps you out so much. It gives you a huge boost of experience. And, even though bounty missions are done or gone, I think that the weekly practices do make up for all the days of bounty missions you would be getting, because 600k XP from these alone, and then you would get yourself 150k times 3 to do it 5 times, and you also get yourself some free items. So the Kakashi Handbook is really nice. Another thing I noticed is that the Tobirama recharge wheel is gone. I actually was unaware of that until last night on a stream, where I was actually planning to do a little bit more into it. And Strong Approach also gives medium threat, so I'll go over that later on. I'm not sure how it works, but it's time to do Plunder, since Plunder is pretty much Convoy got completely reworked. Alright, so I'd say one of the best updates for me is definitely the solo Convoy update. But you do realize you have to either do Plunder or you do Convoy. So if you want to do Convoy, you go to the Treasure Merchant. If you want to do Plunder, you go into the Intelligence Captain. Now, you can only do 3 Plunder missions a day, and you can only do 4 Convoy missions a day. On top of that, you pretty much will get marked red until you lose 3 times against other people that will attack you, and you do lose coins every time. So Plunder has a high risk, but also has a high reward. And on top of that, you have to be in the top 20 of the server. I think it goes by rank battle. So if you're like top 20 rank battle, you can Plunder. So I think that's how it's based. It's not really based on power. The biggest problem with plundering is you have to wait for the refresh list, and you're pretty much gonna just be sitting here. See, this is why I honestly don't like plundering, and it's pretty much mostly due to my server circumstances. So you know how it is, every server is different, every server has their own kind of community, country, whatever you want to call it, alright? So in my server, the convoy times are so strange that people do convoy when I least expect it. I can almost never do convoy in the mornings, and it's just really poorly timed, I guess. So even now, I'm stuck trying to go ahead and plunder, but there's nobody left to plunder. So that's really a big issue. That's why I was saying, in pretty much the stream yesterday, that when it comes to my server, you're honestly better off doing Convoy, because for me, I never see anybody with coupon runs, and that's why Plunder actually gets the best. It's actually the best if you could plunder, and by plunder I mean you plunder coupon missions, because you can get yourself 50 coupons 3 times per day, so that's 150 coupons a day, and you can do that for an entire. You can pretty much do it every day. So 150 coupons every day is better than, you know, plundering for coins and stuff like that. But the thing is, I never see the plunder missions at all. It's really weird. So that's why I'm just like, you know, I would pretty much be better off doing the regular Convoy, even though you can only get yourself 1 SS mission. So you can also get yourself a second one if you spend like 10 ingots, I believe. So you can get yourself 60 coupons from Convoy, and compared to 150 from Plunder. But it just really depends on the server circumstances. You know, right now it's already too late to plunder, so I'll have to either try again later tonight. Which that's the issue I had. That's the reason why I was like, you know, I stick to Convoy in the afternoon, and then if I really make it early on my server, I plunder. But because of my schedule, I'm really not able to, you know, utilize it the best. Because if I have to go ahead and plunder at night, then there is nothing but coin missions, and once in a while you get a straggler or something, so it's really not even efficient. But if you make it to the start of Convoy, then you can probably plunder yourself, you know, a ton of coupons, and it will be a very good experience. And it's really good to get 150 coupons a day, but that's just the problem with my server. You know, I never see anybody that has the coupon runs. And then always, you know, always don't forget to support your group members, because supporting pretty much means if they get plundered, then you go in there and your team fights for you. So it's kind of a way to protect people, and just to make sure your group members don't get robbed. So, you know, be nice to others and help other people out. The best thing is, you know, TI got completely reworked, and you do have to realize now that there is also the 5 natures, which, in case you guys don't understand, the 5 natures, you basically have to get these links through all your ninja tools, and you get buffs from that. So my book and my Sword of Totsuka has the fire buff, which makes all ninja, it increases my basic attacks by 10%, which is a very good buff. And then you also have yourself, you know, yellow, blue, and I think it does show the link somewhere. Yep. So if you have water and water, it increases your life by 10%. Fire and fire is 10% attack. Earth is defense, lightning is ninjutsu, and wind is resistance. So that's how you want to link it. And you do need to basically get these kind of gold stones, which it's been pretty rare, honestly, but I'm saving all my stones because I have been replacing a lot of ninja tools, just because the ninja tools now get gold additional stats. Before they didn't do that. They were purple at most, and now the Shiro Broadsword as well as the Sword of Totsuka are better than red ninja tools. So do be careful. Now in the game, it's not like, oh, red ninja tools are always better than golds. That is false now. Some golds, like these two, are definitely better than reds. And who knows, there might be a couple more that are actually better, but for now I haven't come across any, so I'm still trying just to replace all my old ninja tools. You know, I still have 3 ninja tools to replace that have purple additional stats, and it gives you a pretty good battle power boost. I've gotten 2k power alone just by, you know, switching around my ninja tools in the past week. And, you know, team instances are now based on power itself. So as far as the Brothers Farewell, this is the hardest one you can do at this point in the game. After this, you know, this team instance, there is nothing. And team instance got reworked. So now there's no more daily friend chances. It's now weekly based. So you have yourself 5 friend chances per week. And then you have your 5 daily ones. So pretty much on Monday, you would pretty much have to go ahead and do your 10 runs. And then, you know, you could continue doing 5 every other day. It's not a problem whatsoever. This Brothers Farewell, though, team instance, I can say it's pretty damn hard. You know, the only way I actually have the easiest time doing TI is I literally have a setup for TI. And it's pretty much a round 1 Tendo. So that's the reason why I really do like the Lightning main. And it's like, I really just don't want to swap. So, thanks to Calm Mind, you get yourself 20 chakra points for every standard attack. Now, Bloodthirsty makes this go off twice, and then Lightning Armor will make it go off 3 times. So after using Lightning Armor, you will pretty much get yourself 100 chakra, which is pretty, it's just honestly incredible. I mean, 100 chakra round 1, and then I go straight into Tendo, do round 1 Tendo, then the second round I can Conan as well as Mei, And then third round, I'm back to doing Nintendo Mystery. And that's kind of the way I do Team Instance. Now, you do kind of need to have people, or, your two friends to come help you out. And pretty much have some really good AoE damage, as well as, the key is survivability. That is it. You pretty much don't want your team to get nuked because it does revolve heavily around it. But at the same time, you will see the incredible damage that's been going on. So, I will be showing you guys a team instance so you guys can go ahead and see that. So, guys, going into this TI this is honestly the hardest team instance you can do at this point in the game. They do expand more as the power keeps going up and as, the game progresses, especially throughout the level caps. But this team instance, I've honestly only had success with this round 1 team. So what you have to do, and it's pretty hard to get the same team because you do need Mei and Tendo. Tendo did get changed so you can round 1 without a prompt. So what I basically do is I wait till after the Itachi does his chaos and then I lightning armor, because there is a pretty high chance that he will target your lightning main, and then if he's chaos he can't go ahead and get you the chakra that you need. Apart from that, really insane bursts. You will have Tendo round 1, which should drop everyone. You want to focus the healers. There's healers at the top, healers at the bottom. You do want to kill those. The good thing about this team instance is that they don't revive like the Tendo and the Pain team instances that I had to do before. So team instances aren't based on levels anymore, it's based on power, which makes it a lot better. And there's more variety for ninja tools, so it's easier to get them. And you do want to focus on the secondary stats, like the runes and all the other stuff, because the links will give you more battle power in general. Second round, it's always like, you want to do a Mei mystery, and then you pretty much could Conan as to hit all the tag targets. And then the third round, you'll go back to Tendo, and hopefully they are all dead. Now, the only downside to using this kind of lineup is you do need to have people that are fairly tanky, and you do also have to have the minimum power requirement, which is at least like 43,000 power to at least be able to join into this team instance. And then you probably still want to be over 45, 46k just to survive it. You do want to have a very good team with sustain. And then, if someone has a Tendo on your server, you pretty much want to support the Tendo and then just kill off all the weak HP units. But I do enjoy doing the team instance. It's been really fun. And, the ninja tools are great. Although it does take a while, especially when you have to do 10 chances of it. Although I'm really enjoying the team instances and just really hoping for the new ninja tools. And then, guys, ignore the Ninetales at the top. This was pretty much my Ninetales tab, and I was last minute trying to find a way to do strong approach. So luckily, the Rusty from my Discord gave me the setup of Shirado, Mei, Kabuto, and at first I was wondering, like what the fuck do I do? I mean, he gave me the team, and didn't give me like the talents or tell me the strategy behind it. So I was like, just kind of improvising strong approach, and I did manage to do it. It was honestly very easy once I got it down. It only took me like 3 tries probably to realize what to do throughout the entire way, and it's very it's efficient, but it's a very risky way. It's not honestly the cleanest way I ever did Hanzo. I only did Hanzo as a fire main. I used to always do strong approach as a fire main, never did it as lightning main. So this is the first time I did difficult as a lightning main. The team is definitely not going to get you the highest score. The highest I managed to do was 2,800 after, probably only using, or, only having 30 minutes of experience as a difficult lightning main for strong approach. So, I would say I just cared about getting strong approach done, because you get yourself medium threads now, which the medium threads alone are just super worth it. In case of you wondering, for those of you who do have Shirado and Mei, and don't really care about having the highest amount of points, but just want to do a strong approach, these are the talents, and you also have yourself, the team setup. So you do have to use Gamaken. You can also use, if you don't have Gamaken, you can use the purple toad Gamachu, just because you only chase once with the summon. You don't need to get 2 chases into it, which is pretty good. And, I was using enhancement of the Lightning Ninja. You could probably try the special tactics, but honestly, I didn't notice it. I tried all these, talents. So the leech wasn't noticeable. The lightning buff, it was whatever. And then Heart Flux, you do kind of maintain a lot of chakra for most of the time. So I figured Heart Flux would be a kind of cool thing to mess around with towards the end. But either way, it really doesn't matter what the second passive is. All that really matters is Bloodthirsty and your Liguri for the chase. But apart from that, the team worked pretty well. I managed to do strong approach. So guys, going into the actual strong approach team, which is honestly probably I would say is definitely the worst way I did Hanzo in terms of, I guess, how the battle went. So, thanks to Rusty for giving me the team. Although I didn't know the talents, so I just pretty much followed the chase and the mystery, and then just kind of messed around with the passive. So I think I got everything right for the most part, and it took me like at least 2 runs to figure out what to properly do as far as the team went. The team does the job. It does clear a difficult strong approach, and once you get the hang of it, it really goes down really smooth. This was my best run, which ended with 2,800 points. You could probably get, I don't know if you could get more points, to be honest. This is not like one of those teams that can guarantee you the highest amount of points, but this is pretty much the best run I had, and at least it did the job. I always did strong approach as a fire main. You guys know that I always went to Scarlet Blaze, did strong approach for Hanzo. Never did a strong approach outside of fire main. So this was definitely the first time that I tried it as a lightning main, and I had no idea what to expect. And surprisingly, it was going pretty smooth last night. I managed to do strong approach, and it does give you medium threads. Now, it's a random chance. It's not guaranteed every time you do it on difficult, because I think there was one run where I didn't get any medium threads, and then sometimes you can get 2 or 3. But the good thing is now the strong approach gives you medium threads, even though it doesn't show it on the rewards. So make sure you do strong approach. This was like the first time I did it in 2 months. So I already had max battle armor as far as the level went, apart from the rank, and since you weren't getting medium threads before, I wasn't bothered with anything else. But now, since you do get medium threads, I've taken it into account, and I will keep doing it week by week. Plus, it also helps out for the Kakashi Handbook, since sometimes you do have to do strong approach. Overall, you have Shirado for the interrupt, you have the lightning main for the 8 combo, as well as May can start the 8 combo. Very good damage all around, especially with the main mystery. And then you have Kabuto for the puppets, or the clones, the dead clones, whatever you want to say it, as well as the heal, because you do keep the poison and you can't cleanse it, and you really do need the heals. But when you get towards Jiraiya and then Hanzo, I was honestly left with so little HP that I really find it almost, I honestly don't see this team getting you maybe more than 3k points at best. So I do want to find a better team, one that can get me a high amount of points. But this was, I guess, kind of like a last-minute effort, I guess, because I had no other options. So there goes the strong approach team. It does work out. If you guys have the same ninjas, you can give it a try. You just kind of get a rough idea of what I did from this. But, it worked out for me, and it was a last-minute thing, so thank you, Rusty. Alright, now people are also asking me about, the way Arena works now. So the cool thing about Arena is this. Now ranking is based on, per month. So that is what a season is. The season is each month. Now, the January season, I guess that the rewards are given out when the next season starts. So the rewards for the January season won't be given out until February. And the way it works is this. So you get 12, so for instance, I'm a 6-pad setting. I will get 12 rank points, which is basically, I don't know if it gets you back up to 6 pads, which I hope it would. It just basically means what your rank in Arena is going to be, and then you have to work your way back up. I also get 60 seal frags, which is 6 seal scrolls. And then you also get 30 random strong ninja fragments and 60 random ninja fragments. So personally, there is no list or information of what kind of ninjas you can get on our side. I didn't notice anyone on Germany or other versions that told me what they do get. But it's interesting, you can get 30 random strong ninjas. I just pray to God that the most basic ninjas don't consider, like the game doesn't consider the most basic random ninjas strong. Alright, I really don't want to see myself get 30 Choji fragments or something, and then they'd be like, oh, here's your strong ninja frags. But the 60 random ninja fragments is pretty interesting. I would really like to see what you can get from it. It's just, it's completely random. Hopefully, imagine if you get 60 Tendo frags from that. But I'm pretty sure it will never happen. And speaking about Tendos and stuff like that, you guys will be seeing there are chase missions. So I don't exactly have chase missions up now because it's not the weekend anymore. But chase missions got a huge revamp, and they're so much better. There's way more ninjas now. You can also get yourself a few pains and stuff like that. And then they even added Tendo Pain, Sage Naruto, and QB Naruto, which I did get one QB Naruto flag last night on stream. And personally, one frag of each is still going to take you a while to get. But it's really good, it's just an option there, especially these QB frags. they are really expensive. So I'd say, prioritize the QB frags. Definitely prioritize Sage Naruto as well as Tendo, but the QB frags are probably by far the rarest, and the fact that he's in a chase mission now, I would get him every time. I'm really looking forward to get the 4-star version when he does come out, so I'm gonna be looking forward to that. Then they also, the cool thing is not everything has its own independent talents. So Arena's talents, they don't get interfered with your main team. Your main team has pretty much their own talents as well. There's 3 different main teams and they keep their own talents. So that's even better. And then don't forget Survival Trial also. They have themselves their main talents. So everything keeps their main talents, which is really good. And for Survival Trial is the only time I switched to Anbu Special Tactics, because you really do need to get yourself the leech. And then, now we can finally just go through the regular stuff and talk about some other things. So people are often asking about lineups. Personally, I would just say pick ninjas you like to use, find the main you like to work with, or the one that works with the ninja you're trying to use, and just go to the combo simulator. Now you should pretty much stick to the Chinese combo simulator at this point. The English one does not have the fort talents, and at the same time it doesn't have the chases updated and whatnot. So since we actually have the same chases and combos as China now, thanks to the 2.0, for the most part at least, I would say it's still more accurate than the English one. You're pretty much going to be better off just to going ahead and focusing on that one. So focus on the Chinese combo simulator. I'll try to get as many lineups as I can tomorrow. That would pretty much help you guys decide on some teams. So I will try my best to get you guys some lineups for that. It's for me, like I said, I've only been using this team, and it works out so well. Haven't had any problems, and it's been doing really good on Sage as well. So I should have probably geared right there, or yeah, I should have geared, but oops. So besides that, does 2.0 really fix this game? I would say it makes the game a lot better. The gameplay has definitely gotten a huge rework and a huge boost, even though they did change. Now the people are saying Lightning, alright, so Scarlet Blaze is never going to be the same. Not necessarily that, okay, they killed Scarlet Blaze and it's unplayable. It's just they changed the functionalities of Scarlet Blaze completely. And the most ninja that you have seen with Scarlet Blaze was Toby in the first place. So, they pretty much took out the way, pretty much they killed the way that you've seen the Fire Main in the past. And it's completely different now. But it doesn't mean that the Fire Main is still completely useless. There's still probably lineups that are really good. But personally, I would just play either Water or Lightning. Even go ahead and play with a Wind Main, to be honest. Those are the 3 classes I would go for. On top of Scarlet Blaze taking a huge hit, I would say Crimson Fist also managed to take a huge huge nerf, or huge change. Change is the more common, probably the best way to say it, just because each ninja or each main character is good in their own way, and each of them have different functionalities and what their specialty is for. So as much as you don't really want to say that, oh, this main is the worst, I would pretty much go just by which main I don't prefer, or what main character I would just least play, or what main character you least see in the top players of the game as far as battle power goes. So I would say, it's pretty crazy that they had to do such big changes to Scarlet Blaze and the Earth main. And on top of that, they pretty much nerfed Toby. They nerfed him in the sense that they got rid of his Undying and they got rid of the knockdown. But his damage and he's more of a, he still keeps his high damage. And since he can't start a combo, he's just there for the chase, the ignites. And the 20 chakra he gives each round is honestly very good. It's often overlooked. I'm pretty much, the reason why I run Calm Mind in the first place is so I can Heat on and Lightning Main round 1. And I will pretty much prioritize my Lightning Main before Heat on, just in case there's a barrier or something that would mess up with the team. So that's the only circumstances where I do acupuncture. It would be best to switch Lightning Main with Heat on, but if you're trying to maximize your combo for the entire team, so for instance, I pretty much have to put, I should have Heat on, but I was looking at Heat on and I looked at the Lightning Main. So the way it works out is this. Having Hidan in the second slot allows you to have Danzo for Mifune's chase. If you were to swap with the Lightning Main, you would have to use a completely different chase, and it wouldn't really have the same effect whatsoever. Now Orochimaru also got changed, but people say that now pretty much you can use clones to revive Orochimaru. So people have been suggesting to run Kabuto with him. I didn't really look into that just because Orochimaru hasn't been, the greatest ninja. I would say that he was really never considered top tier. Even Konoha Trader Orochimaru was very situational and more of a fun ninja, if anything else. But a lot of teams to look out for. I haven't seen anyone try to do any Tendo round 1 teams, just because kind of got changed the way it works, and I would honestly say you're better off probably. You're probably better off just trying to go for a Great Ninja War round 110, a Great Ninja War 10-10 round 1 team, because she just has pretty much 10-10 did not get any sort of changes, but what she does have is no battle cooldown anymore. So you can, once you get 60 chakra, you can get Great Ninja War 10-10. You can do a Mei team with the Water Main, and I have seen some people do Darui with the Lightning Main and Great Ninja War 10-10. So either way it works. I'd probably say the Water Main route is probably stronger, and but it's just Lightning Main has its own perks, and I honestly haven't seen Darui teams that really amaze me. That's just it. He is probably, I guess, probably my least favorite barrier ninja easily. And wow, these 3 freaking tanks is pretty much is like, damn, like 3 frontliners right there. And this is why you gotta love the Root of the Warrior passive. Be careful when it comes to Earth Main or Wind Mains, sorry, because their 4th mystery, it will clear Root of the Warrior. So Root of the Warrior can be cleared now. It pretty much counts as a buff, so anyone that clears buffs on the enemy team will be able to get rid of that. So it did catch me off guard in Arena in the past, so you should watch out for that. Apart from using this team, I haven't really faced too many. I haven't really found a team that easily counters it. The main, unless you're gonna clear the buffs from the team, you'll pretty much go ahead and have to kill Danzo, because he's the only one without immunity. And then Hidan slowly kills himself. So if Hidan dies, it's kind of easier way to lock up a certain team, I guess. And then Hidan's damage is just honestly insane. I've honestly been just really enjoying Hidan. I've seen Fukensen's video yesterday of Angel God Conan, Orochimaru Akatsuki, Cursed Hidan and Lightning Main team. And that team was honestly probably the nicest things I've seen in a while when it comes to China ninjas. And just the fact that I can use my Cursed Hidan with a future Orochimaru Akatsuki, as well as Angel of Conan, I honestly would be looking forward to getting them, and it would just be really fun to play around with, So I definitely would like to get a 4-star, 5-star Hidan in the future for many reasons. I do want to get Roshi from the Jinchuriki treasures, so he will be Roshi makes a lot of really good Hidan teams, especially the one that you see everywhere. So that's just one thing that I would point out. And the problem here is that Toby always dodges Mifune's mystery. So I really just can't go ahead and really mystery. Just have to let him kill off. And I'm always expecting Toby to revive, but then when you realize he doesn't revive anymore, it's just such a change in the game. It really is. I'm honestly enjoying the 2.0. There's a lot of theory crafting now, because you can do a couple of team ideas that I didn't really have tested out, and I do want to test them out whenever I can. But I definitely think I want to spend a good long while on a Lightning Main. I personally have, you guys know me for always changing my main character and changing my teams, but this is honestly the first time that I'm actually staying with one main and keeping a team for longer than 2-3 days. It's honestly surprising, but what I think I will do is go from different Lightning Main teams to different Lightning Main teams. I really do want to try it out. That's what I want to go ahead and do. So there's still a few more Lightning Main concepts. Eventually I have to work my way around to different mains. But you know, I really do enjoy the changes in the game. The last thing that Oasis has to do is, alright, they still have to kind of cut down the servers, which I know they can't and they won't, but the servers really need to stop. Like, there was a day where I think 3 or 4 new servers came out in all different regions. So servers really need to get cut down and stopped. On top of that, merges should be happening a little bit more frequent until they catch up to the newest servers. And they still have to fix events. I mean, they should bring out way better events for us with way better rewards. And honestly, they need to do like one free event for all free players once a week. Like, there's really no excuse not to. And then I don't know why you still can't spend coupons on ingot-only events. Personally, I don't know anybody who buys in the limited packs event. The deals are not that amazing. You know, like this 108 ingot here is probably the best deal you can get. Just because a seal scroll is 132. So everything else here already is a pretty decent discount. But when it comes to all other items, they're so close to their actual prices individually that there's really no point spending in that. And then, you know, the Lucky Star wheel, I was hoping that they would have rotated. Like, why would they put Mifune 2 events in? And he was in the last Lucky Star, and they put him back in here again. Conan will eventually reach the group shops, which, you know, since they only released Sorcery in the Ranked Battle shop, they probably don't plan on releasing Conan in the shops for a while. Trying to still get some milk money off that. And then Sailor Sakura is still very good. You know, I will really wait for a Killer Bee to hit events, and then the 4-star QB Naruto to finally use Sailor Sakura again, because this 4-star is going to be ridiculous. And on top of that, until, you know, Tsunade Hokage comes out, Sailor Sakura will be the best healer in the game. I mean, Tsunade is just ridiculous since she increases healing by 45% and then heals 3 units at random, but has a chance of healing 9 or 12 units as a standard attack. Plus her mystery hits insanely hard, and she has neurotoxin, so every time she crits, she will chaos the person. And that goes for her chase, her mystery, which, you know, it's very versatile. It's a really good, you know, that's why Tsunade Hokage is ridiculous. I'm still just waiting for Killer Bee to hit events, and I'm not really focusing on anybody else. But, you know, apart from that, the only person that actually managed to get themselves a Tobirama from that Lucky Slot wheel, or at least as far as I see on the forums, managed to get it for $40. So RNG events are extremely flawed in the game. Oasis Games is probably never going to change that, but you know, you guys should pretty much avoid RNG at all times. Now, with the 2.0 update, you also get a pretty big boost in the Rich Field, which is honestly a great thing. So now you can get more coins because there's an Expert and Extreme difficulty. Expert is level 75, Extreme is 85, and just like they're called, they got a lot harder than hard. Extreme is pretty difficult. I can't manage to kill the cat, and Expert is, you know, like probably the between hard and extreme. So obviously you want to do the highest coin one that you can, maximize your combo as well as your damage, because you pretty much have 5 rounds to try and kill the cat. The more damage you do, the more coins you will get, especially when it comes to Wednesday, I believe, when you get double the rewards from the Rich Field. So definitely go for that. And experience training is the same thing, Expert 75, Extreme 85, but on top of all the stuff you're getting, you pretty much get yourself gold awakening materials for the Expert one and red awakening materials for the 85 one, which is extreme. Now personally, I go for the 75 Expert on the XP one, and I go for extreme on the coins because you want to get the most amount of coins, so I focus on killing intent for maximum damage with the heat on team. But for Expert on the experience trial, you want to focus on survivability and, you know, pretty much damage as well. So I switched to Ambu Special Tactics because there's a lot of wolves and they do a high amount of damage. And I do the Expert one because, you know, I want to get all the gold awakening materials just to pretty much get all the ninjas to red. I want to get all my ninjas that I have to red awakening, and then once I get them all red, I will go for the 85 extreme experience trial just to slowly get the ninjas that I use to +1 red, because it takes a lot of materials for that. So that's when I'll start going for extreme. But for now, we'll go for Expert on the experience trial, and it's honestly a lot better. You know, it's actually worth spending your stamina on other things. And, you know, following the Rich Field chances, you also have instant sweeping when it comes to the game. So that's another feature I really do love. It's more convenient, you know, it's a lot less of a hassle. And, you know, it's good to get more coins and more rewards in general when it comes to Rich Field now. Alongside the 2.0, you also have sealed ninjas or cursed ninjas, which they pop up from people treasure hunting on your server. And you can kill them twice a day to get rewards from. Now, they are pretty hard, so you can solo or bring up to 2 or 3 people and go as a team, but then it does scale to difficulty-wise. So, personally, I am able to solo most of them. I think there was only like one that actually gave me a lot of trouble. And the main one, for instance, is actually pretty annoying. You know, the worst part was Chojuro. If he kills a clone, he has bloodthirsty, so when he kills somebody, he keeps attacking, and they do really high damage. Plus, when it comes to this Cursed Ninja team, the Sealed Ninja team, they have higher initiative than you as far as Mei goes. And I think Mei, pretty much they will go through, even if they have acupuncture or any status effects, they will still do what they normally do. So we did manage to kill it. Like I said, do it twice a day, find yourself a Sealed Ninja, group up with friends or any people on your server. You can get yourself coins, stamina potions, magatamas, all these kind of really nice rewards that just make it a lot easier. So, you know, it's definitely a lot better to play the game now. And, you know, these features are just a great addition to it in general. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys today is just, you know, a very awkward comparison. So right now you are seeing the last plot instance, and I'm just showing you pretty much the blue circle to show you the hardest fight of that instance. The last one you fight currently is the 3 Tendo Pains, which isn't that bad for me with the current team. All I have to do is acupuncture 1 Tendo, focus the second one to kill him, and then pretty much just 1 Tendo left next round, which I survived the mystery, and it's really easy to kill him. But when it comes to comparing this to a different plot instance, which, you know, this is supposed to be the last one, level 87 plot instance right now, pretty much the final trial, which is the last plot instance of the 70s, is pretty much harder than this one. And I'm strictly talking about, you know, the extra challenging part of the plot instance where you go into the blue circle and you fight the tougher opponent. I did forget to go ×2 speed when I was fighting Nintendos, so I apologize about that. I didn't realize that until now. So, you know, and then the only pain in this plot instance is just fighting the puppets after it. But this final trial, alright, in the Jiraiya arc, it's pretty nuts, and it did get a buff. I did this so long ago with a Sage Naruto team, and it gave me less trouble, but now I had to swap to special tactics to get some sort of leech. In case you guys are wondering, you do fight all the pains as well as Tendo Pain in this one, and it is just way tougher, you know. And supposedly they got a boost, so even though the battle power for them is listed as 54,000, it's supposedly boosted up to 70,000. And you will notice the damage. Heat on, you know, basically gets comboed on, and it does a ton of damage, which I honestly didn't expect. So it did give me a little bit of trouble. I did manage to beat it with this current lineup, but it definitely feels a lot stronger the first time. Maybe with a different team, especially when I use the Sage Naruto team. You know, more of a sustained team, maybe more of a controlled team. Something would probably go a lot easier than this. Maybe some sort of like Super Blitz, or even, you know, a round 2 nuke. Something might work out, but I had to basically Izanagi heat on just because he got extremely low. And it was just honestly surprising to see this plot instance be a lot harder than 3 Tendo Pains. So, you know, I honestly think that, you know, if it did get buffed, it's like suicide. I feel bad for a lot of players that are going to get stuck on this or have to fight this. But, you know, the 3 Tendo Pains is definitely so much easier than this instance alone. And it just completely shocked me. But that's the last thing I wanted to show you guys. You know, it's just, there's been a lot of stuff in 2.0. It's honestly an amazing thing. But that's all for today's video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, I will try to get you guys some lineups. You know, just to help you guys out with the 2.0, because I know it's pretty hard to have a good team and, you know, to pick a main that really works for you now.